Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me for tonight is Taz, and he is going to be joining our Fan for Racing crew here. So, Taz, welcome.
Thank you for having me on, and appreciate the warm welcome for first time getting on here.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll try to have a lot of fun with this and make it interesting for the fans and for those tuning in. I don't know how many fans we actually have, but we'll try to make this fun. Jay is on vacation, just so you know that we haven't lost anyone. It's just that Jay is on vacation and Taz is going to fill in. He's going to be our fill-in guy for when Sal can't do it, and when Jay's unable to be on the show with me, then I'm going to call on Taz to fill in for us. So we really appreciate it.
Not a problem. It's I've been on podcasts for the last few years, and when I've had no podcasts for the 2025 season, it's been kind of a blank void. So glad to have something back.
Well, good. Give that 2 thumbs up. We're real happy.
Whether if it's on a part-time or full-time basis, I'll take what I can get.
Okay. Well, I know you can't do hot topics, but we'll have to look at that. I was wondering if maybe we couldn't come up with a feature just for you. So we'll think about that.
Oh, that would be something.
I want to say welcome to everybody, but also we are here, Taz and I, because we're going to preview the NASCAR Truck Series for you. As Taz says, he's got the drivers to watch and some food for thought. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. Pocono is the tricky triangle. So I think
it's named the tricky triangle for a good reason. And everyone always says Pocono is those typical super speed, and I can see why it's also referred to as the wild card, because Pocono, it goes one of two ways. You either have your favorites up front dominating the race, or you have the underdog story. If I remember listening to your guys' show from Monday night, Chris mentioned Ryan Blaney when he was running for Wood Brothers at the start of his Cup career. Like, there's that. I mean, that's one of the very few underdog stories that Pocono brings.
Yes.
I know what you get each year. Every time we go to Pocono, it's something different.
It is. It's a tricky triangle, and I think this track was set up. One corner is set up for Indianapolis, another corner is Darlington, and another corner, I can't remember what the third corner is. Do you remember?
I know turn 3 was like Indianapolis, as you mentioned. I kind of feel like turn 2 is kind of like your tri-oval. I kind of feel like your Talladega and Daytona, and then your turn 1 is pretty much like your dark well-banked corner.
Yes. So fans will have a lot to look forward to this weekend. As you mentioned, it's somewhat of a wild card. I would say it's probably more of a veterans track versus a newcomers track.
Oh, definitely, for sure. And I mean, you got guys who've won multiple times. And when we get to that point, we can name out the one driver who sticks out like a sore thumb for this track. When you got somebody who's dominated that place for so many years, it shows the veteran style. And of course, there are those other veteran drivers who have always ran up front and have either never won or have come close to winning it a few times, or they have won like 1 or 2 times. But it's one of those tracks that you can sit there and prepare for, but when you race it, it's a complete different ball game. It's definitely the super speedway style deal, like a Talladega or Daytona. You can prep and strategize all you want, but come race day, it's a completely different story.
Exactly.
Hence the wild card.
It is the wild card, but okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to give the details for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. They are racing this Friday, June the 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And the name of the race is the Miller Tech Battery 200. Now, Pocono, just so everybody knows, is a 2.5-mile asphalt paved tri-oval. Those are some of the particulars there. Now, the time of the race is about 5 p.m. Eastern time, and it will be televised on the home network for the NASCAR Truck Series. That's Fox Sports 1. And then the new radio station for this year is NASCAR's radio network, as well as Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. They're going to race that distance of 200 miles over 80 laps. And the first two stages are 20 laps each. So stage one's going to end on lap 20, stage two on lap 40, and then the final stage is another 40 laps and will end on lap 80. Now, I will tell you, they're going to have the practice and Kennemental pole qualifying for the Craftsman Truck Series starting at 12:30 p.m., but it will be on FS2. So mark that down so you don't miss it. FS2 for that practice and pole qualifying. So a lot to look forward to here in the Truck Series. It's the 16th running of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Pocono Raceway, and the first time that they're going to run 200 miles.
Yeah, this will test some of the drivers. Obviously, they've had most of them, if not all, have had some sort of endurance running deal, but I feel like this will really truly test them. Can they take to the limit? How well can not only the drivers handle in terms of strategy, but their pit crews as well? I mean, they're used to going, a little over what I believe ARCA does. Like, I think ARCA does about 100 miles for the most part. So trucks is probably like 125, 150 tops. So really, they're kind of pushing that endurance deal.
They are. And, NASCAR Truck Series and the ARCA Series, for that matter, those are the developmental series as they move their way up the ladder into the Xfinity and Cup Series. And I will say that that's one of the things that drivers tell us all the time when they come from the ARCA Menard Series. One, they're not used to doing pit stops. So that's the development that they get in the Truck Series. And then number two is the endurance, racing those longer races. So I like to see that they're bringing that into the Truck Series.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I wish that, and I know over the years, it's kind of gone from there's your main like Truck Series like veteran guys, like guys who like didn't really have the it factor for Xfinity or the Cup Series, but they have this craft or this style of racing for the trucks. And you had guys for the longest time like Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, who's still there. I know there's a few others I could name off, but they're not ringing through my brain at this very second. But
That's okay.
It used to be like your big time veteran drivers who were just regular racers for just the Truck Series, and now it's kind of more into stepping out of that veteran deal now with the youngster.
Well, we still have a few veterans.
Not as much as we used to see, though.
A veteran.
Not as much as we used to see, though.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
And I'm glad that these younger drivers are getting that opportunity now, but at the same time, I wish that maybe we could get like more of like, say, like the Cup regulars. I understand they can only do like 3 to 5 races max and whatnot. But I feel like if they ran the the Truck Series just a little bit more, not too much, obviously, but a little bit more to kind of help some of these younger drivers a little bit, maybe understand what the racing craft is like this is what you're stepping into, or what if your goal is to get to the Cup Series,
right,
you got to bring it here with the veteran guys are going to come down. They're going to teach you a thing or two, and if you don't learn it here, you're going to have a hard time learning it up here.
yes,
And
yes.
And unfortunately, there's been some of the races where it's been known as the Wreck Fest, and I hate to see the Truck Series kind of be like that, but um,
I
I
think that
mean,
they've gotten better, though. I think this year is actually a lot better than it was last year. Last year was more of a wreckfest year. This year, it seems like they've done a little bit better job of really focusing on their craft.
yeah, there's a few that have gotten the point of it, I do believe.
Yes,
But of course, again, you're gonna have rookie mistakes. You're gonna have the inexperience
exactly.
coming in. It's gonna happen. It's just more common now than what it used to be.
Yes, yes. This isn't the first time that they've lengthened the race at Pocono. If you go back a few years uh, from 2010 to 2013, it was 50 laps. And then in 2014 to 2023, the race went up to 60 laps. And in 24, they moved it up to 70 laps. And then now in 2025, they're taking that big leap. And 80 laps, I think we've moved it up to 80 laps now.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So I think that's a good progress of kind of uh, given that endurance quality to this track. Now, let me just tell you, there's 3 past winners in the field this week, too. Tell me what your thoughts are about these 3 drivers. Brandon Jones, Chandler Smith, and none other than Heim Time himself, Corey Heim.
Corey Heim, obviously been the driver of the Truck Series this year.
Yes.
I mean, heading into Pocono, he's got a pretty comfortable points lead. He's 133 points ahead of second place Chandler Smith. And I mean, everyone else is like at very most like a 20-point margin separating the next person in line. So Heim's going to be the big guy to look for. There's a few that I believe could stick out a little bit more.
Let
As
me,
you mentioned, Brandon Jones. He's raced the truck race once, the Truck Series race at Pocono once, and he won it.
anyone.
Yeah. Uh, as a matter of fact, he went, and that was a 150-mile race when he did that. There's a few others that kind of come to mind. I do believe.
How about Chandler Smith? Do you think he'll challenge Corey Heim? He's been kind of the challenger for Corey Heim
I think
this
I
year.
think Chandler Smith will definitely give him something. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Jones also challenges as well. There's another. I do believe there's another driver who can be a challenge too, and that's Roger Caruth.
Ah,
He's been he's been on one heck of a momentum swing. I know he's if he's not competing for a win, he's close.
well,
He's
he has
been
good reason to compete this weekend. He's 13th in the playoff standings, negative 17 to the bubble before. But he did get that win at Nashville that put him up
yeah.
above. But right now he's below that cut line, so I'm sure he wants to get another win to kind of firm up his positioning there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me any if he's up there. Another driver. He's been there for quite some time. Is Grant Enfinger.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's been another top guy this year, and he always has been for quite some time. Even with ThorSport, he was always a top guy. But a couple other drivers, maybe to kind of, I wouldn't say be like front runners, but don't like sleep on them either. Would kind of be your Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, um, and Tanner Gray as well. He's running for the same team as Brandon Jones is going to be racing for Tricon. So, I mean, those are a few names to throw in there. Also, Carson Hocevar will be running for Spire
yes.
Motorsports this week. So, and with how Carson Hocevar has been in the Cup Series for the last few weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if he's knocking on the door, challenging as well.
Okay, it wouldn't surprise me either. Now, let me ask you about this. There's going to be 12 drivers that have never raced at Pocono before in the field this weekend. What's that going to do to this race?
I feel like with those guys or those girls, guys, or drivers, they will. I think they're gonna run a lot of practice laps. Obviously, if nothing fails or goes against their way, they're gonna run more practice laps than probably anybody else in the field. So I think that their inexperience will probably show, but I think but depending on how quick their learning curves are, they could pick things up rather quickly.
I was going to
It,
say, is there any that you think could surprise us this weekend? Any of those 12 drivers that have never raced there before? We'll probably have some
oh
coming up from
gosh,
the Arca Menard series. And
there's a few. I'm not entirely sure who could break through in that matter.
well,
Like I
and
said,
by surprise us, maybe they don't win the race, but maybe they're up there in the top 5 and kind of racing with the big guys throughout the race. Somebody to
yeah,
keep an eye on.
definitely. I can definitely see that. I mean, again, as I mentioned earlier, Pocono is known to bring in an underdog story, and one of those 12 drivers could be bringing that underdog feel to this race.
Okay, so keep your eye on that. Here's another thing, and I always like to look for these kind of things too, because some tracks this happens, some tracks it doesn't happen. So I like to kind of give a heads up to everybody. The driver who led the most laps in the last 7 races have won. So if you keep your eye on who's leading the most laps during this race, it could be a little bit of a hint toward who has the best chance of winning it.
Pocono is one of those. Pocono just is one of those deals where one driver could dominate, and that's just the story of it. Or as you mentioned, lead the last handful of laps, and here you go. I mean, look at the truck series race a couple weeks ago at Michigan. You had a couple drivers who are constantly running up front, leading laps, and then all of a sudden, one mistake, one wreck happens, and here comes uh, a hometown guy. Well, at least hometown guy for me, anyways. Stuart Friesen coming through and
Yes.
getting the win.
Yes, that was fantastic. He was below the cut line too. He was another driver that was below the cut line. What about Ty Majeski?
You know, he's also one to look for. Ben Rhodes too. Just the Thor Sport camp entirely. The front to back, top to bottom. They got the guys, they got the equipment. If I mean, shoot, I know it's been a while since Ben Crafton has won a race, but I think he could have a good shot of winning this. And of course, this could be the track that he sneaks through and could get that win for the
Yeah,
team.
he needs it. He needs it. Did you see the news today that Cam Waters is going to race at Lime Rock for Thor Sport?
I missed that news, but Cam Cam Waters, man, if he plays his cards right, he could end up like another SVG.
Yes, I think so too. I'm kind of excited about that. Jake Garcia is another driver. He's gone from plus 48 points to negative 4 points to the bubble in the last 2 races. Now, so he's doing the exact opposite of what Ty Majeski is doing. Ty's moving up. He's plus 4, but Jake is falling back. Could this be a track that kind of gets him back on track, do you think?
I feel like Jake Garcia needs a turning point, and with how small the Truck Series schedule is, it's in order for you to make the playoffs, not only with a win, but you got to be like a constant front runner. And if you have a few bad weeks, it can be hard climbing back up. And lucky for him, it's only 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you got to be 4 points ahead of, unfortunately, your teammate. Just matter.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
it's it's one of those it's one of those deals. He can easily make it up in the stage and keep it that way, but again, he's got to figure it out because pretty soon we're going to be hitting the playoffs for the Truck Series.
That's right. And they don't have much longer. The Truck Series has the least amount of time before their playoffs begin. And you mentioned Tyler Ankrum as one of the drivers to watch this weekend. He's making his 150th start this weekend. And there's 2 drivers that have actually won on their 150th start, Taz, in the Truck Series. Mike Skinner did it at Martinsville in October of 07. And do you know who the other guy is?
I don't actually.
It's Kyle Busch. He did it in Charlotte.
I really should have known that one.
Well, I was thinking you might have known that.
I figured I should have known that one since he's a big hit in the Truck Series, but
He certainly is.
But yeah, Ankrum, yeah, he's got to win, but he's been one to up when you least expect it. That's the best way I can explain Tyler Ankrum is that when you think he should be somebody to be competing for top 5s or wins, it's like you don't really hear or see much of him. But when you like kind of push him away a bit, that's when he sneaks in and you're like, whoa, why is he here? We wrote him off not that long ago and now he's showing up. But yeah, I think this race could go one of 2 ways. Either we're going to see a repeat winner. And Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Ankrum, Hemrick, Friesen, Carruth, 6 of those drivers could get a repeat win. I do believe either one of those 6 can do it. And then you have the other drivers, as we mentioned, Jake Garcia.
Now, let me just say this before you move on there. Let me just say this. The last 6 Pocono races have been won by 6 different drivers.
So that kind of throws a monkey wrench into things because because now the trend goes, do we go 7 for 7 or does somebody break that trend? And by the looks of it, there's only, as you mentioned earlier, there's only 3 drivers that can break that trend. You got Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, and Brandon Jones. Those are the only 3 that can rewrite that can break that streak. It's hard to tell if Heim time will repeat, and it's hard to tell if somebody will break through for either, whether it be the first win of their career or the first win of their season.
Okay. Unfortunately, I do have to bring up a little bit of sad news here. Charlie Henderson passed away this past week. And I do want to do a little bit of information about him because there's things that people don't always know about some of these folks within the NASCAR environment. And so he was born and raised in Meadowview, Virginia. He comes from the state of Virginia. He's a veteran of the United States Army, and we don't always hear that, but I'm really respect and honor that. He married his wife, Brenda, for 62 years. He's been with her. They had 2 children, a son, David, and a daughter, Debbie. They owned and operated Food Country USA. It's a 10-store grocery chain in Virginia and Tennessee. He formed Henderson Motorsports in 1982, initially running part-time in the Cup Series with Brad Teague. When was the last time you heard that name?
It's been some time there.
He operated in the Xfinity Series from 1982 to 2007 with drivers including future Cup winner Jeff Bodine, Ernie Irvin, Jimmy Spencer, and Ward Burton. He won 3 Xfinity Series races with Brad Teague, Martinsville, and Rick Wilson at Bristol and Dover. So the best Xfinity points results was a 7th place finish with Brad Teague in 1987 and Butch Miller in 1992. And he formed a part-time Truck Series team in 2012 with Caleb Holman. 2 Truck Series wins with Parker Kligerman at Talladega in 17 and Mid-Ohio in 22. And the truck team, Henderson Motorsports, currently runs part-time with Parker Kligerman. And I know Parker really feels that loss of Charlie Henderson this week.
Yeah, especially when in a lot of people's eyes, he had that season opening Daytona win.
Yes.
And just a heartbreak, lose it in a post race disqualification, and I give the team props to do whatever they can to fight it and make that the right call, but unfortunately, that didn't go their way at all either.
No, that was a heartbreak, I think, for a lot of people when that disqualification happened. But Charlie Henderson will be missed in the NASCAR community. And we just wanted to make sure folks knew a little bit more about him as a person. So who's your race winner pick for this week?
I thought about Corey Heim, and then I was like, you know what? We're going to I say we're going to go 7 for 7. I think this could be, I think I have like 2 or 3 names I could throw. The race winning pick
well,
is,
let me give you this information. Let me give you this information while you're thinking about that. Jay usually does this for us. The entry list for the Miller Tech Battery 200 in the Craftsman Truck Series race, there are 34 drivers and teams for 36 spots. Carson Holzbar's in the 07 for Spire Motorsports. No, he's in the 7. It's got a TBA for the 07. Do you know
he's
who
in the 7 truck.
Do you know who the 07 is?
As of right now, I don't think so.
Tyler Tomasi is going to be in the number 69. Luke Baldwin's racing this weekend for ThorSport in the number 66. You've got Connor Jones in the 44 for Nice Motorsports. I'm just trying to point out the ones that don't usually race. Brian Dozat in the number 28 this weekend for FDNY Racing. Clayton Green for Rayoum Brothers in the 22.
I just got it. Thank you, Bob Pockris. He's got the qualifying order, and the 07 is fielded by Patrick Emmerling.
Oh, Patrick Emmerling. Okay. Yeah, he races quite frequently. Connor Mozak in the 81. Those are the ones that stand out to me as ones that we don't typically, that are not always in every race, but are racing this weekend. So who's your favorite?
Right. It's hard to go against Brandon Jones and Corey Heim. It really is. I hate to really admit that, but I'm going to kind of go with the 7 for 7 trend, and I think somebody gets their first win of the season.
Okay.
I'm going to throw in a first-time winner of the season, and that's going to be Lane Riggs.
Ooh, okay. I like that pick.
I threw in Lane Riggs for this reason because it's Pocono. It's the Truck Series. If it's anything like Michigan a couple weeks ago, somebody's going to sneak in that never was discussed about all day long. And Lane Riggs I think, will be that guy.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that pick. You're right. There are those that are kind of expected to win, the ones that we've talked about, but I'm going to kind of go with somebody that maybe isn't expected to win, but needs a really good race. The season hasn't gone exactly according to plan this year, but I think he can do it at Pocono, and I'm going to go with Ty Majeski.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, comfortable pick, I would say, to go with.
Okay. I will see what happens. And I hate to call this guy a dark horse, but I think my dark horse is going to be Ben Rhodes. He hasn't had the best of season this year either. Who's your dark horse?
My dark horse, I'm gonna go flip to the Toyota side, and I'm gonna go with uh Tanner Gray. Um, his
Ooh, I like
his
it.
his brother Taylor, although has not won at Pocono, he's finished in the top 5 in both of his Pocono races. So I would say Taylor might feed him some information to
Ah,
get
I
a
like
good
it.
finish out of it.
Okay. Well, I think that does it for our preview, unless you can think of anything else you want to make sure you mentioned here.
No, I think we're all good for the truck series here.
Okay. Well, do watch for more because Taz is helping me with all the previews this week. So we've still got the Xfinity Series. There's an ARCA race at Elko this weekend, and then the Cup Series on Sunday. So we'll be back in upcoming videos to give you that what you need to know for the races coming up this weekend. And so stay tuned for all of those. And then, of course, we always like to say thank you for watching. We always appreciate it. We have a lot of fun doing these, and we hope you enjoy them as much as we enjoy doing them. So with that, I guess we'll see everybody in the next video, Taz.
All right.
Okay. Take care, everybody.